George, but not
because there's articles about
George is a AI that lives out in the ecosystem.
Stop. This
Rock Nation.
Okay, this is George. I'm gonna read you this article. You tell me if I'm tripping. This is from inversewire.com.
Nobody even heard about this website till you brought it up.
True.
It's not like you read it from CNN. Charlotte, you read inversewire.com.
Listen,
Yo, Charlotte, stop it, bro.
take advantage of the worldwide.
Yo,
That website Charlamagne was reading from would later become a major point of contention for Akademiks. After that sit down and back on his own stream, Akademiks began questioning whether Inversewire was a legitimate news outlet or an AI-generated website that was being used to push allegations against him, Drake, and Grand Wizard involving their dealings with Stake.
the reputable website that he read in our interview no longer exists. Charlamagne pulled a fast one, not only on me, but the entire group of people who kind of bought into this conversation. This was ridiculous. Website no longer exists. It's like everything just went away. The subsequent follow-ups like this, like to me, when I found out it was an AI website, I was like, yo, good game. It's over.
Then the website reportedly became unavailable, only to suddenly pop back up again. And when Akademiks saw it, well, you can just imagine.
By more than clicks. Yo, August 22nd, let's watch. Yo, my nigga just created his own complex, bro. Like, this is crazy, bro. Yo.
Akademiks could not stop laughing when he read the article that placed Charlamagne at number 1, even though Complex ranked Akademiks at number 1 in their May 2026 list and Charlamagne in the number 5 spot. But now, Charlamagne has finally given a response when asked about it, and according to him, Akademiks either doesn't understand how an aggregator site works or is conveniently ignoring where the original article came from. So I did some research of my own, and while Charlamagne has a point about the original article, this website does look a little sus in my opinion. In one of the articles, it has Charlamagne dressed like a Godzilla-sized Superman and Akademiks way down below looking up at him. So let's talk about it.
So nobody cares that Charlamagne the God came with an AI article to try to shift up the discussion and blatantly lie and try to just capture the goodwill of the people by trying to say someone's crazy. Now
when Charlamagne was first asked the question about Akademiks' accusation, he appeared really confused about which article he was talking about, but he was reminded it was Inversewire.
What are you talking about?
What's the AI thing?
I saw that he thought that you brought up newspaper, like AI newspaper, or not newspaper, sorry, news reports about him.
AI news reports about him. Oh, yeah, they be spamming the fuck out of me with that shit. They talk about inversewire.com. It's like, Act, you're smarter than that, my brother. Like, inversewire.com is a, what do they call it? It's called an aggregator site. You know what
He's a liar.
Charlamagne stands on Inversewire is an aggregator.
An aggregator site is a website that collects information, content, or product listings from many different sources and shows them all in one place. Instead of making its own original content, the site organizes data from other web pages so people can compare options easily. And common types of aggregator sites are news and articles. So there's platforms like, I think it's called TechMeme. They collect and summarize news reports from various publishers. So that's what the site inversewire.com does. And so the article that I was citing to Akademiks was originally published on theage.com, and it was also published on the Sydney Morning Herald.
Now, he is right that aggregator websites exist. And from doing my own research, an aggregator collects stories from different publishers and puts them in one location. As he stated, some examples are like Google News, Apple News, and Flipboard. They're all examples of an aggregator site. So the fact that a website republishes or summarizes somebody else's article or report does not automatically mean the information on it is fake, but calling it an aggregator site when the site has no backlinks, no sources, or rhythm of a typical news reporting site, I can see how that can raise an eyebrow or two. Then I started reading some of the articles and just take a look at the sports section. I find it hard to believe one writer wrote 10 articles or posted that many in a day, all 2-minute reads. So just for kicks and giggles, let's pick from one of the categories and look at an article. The categories up there are not even normal categories. You have astrology, pets, space, take, signal systems, media, legal, building, AI, mental models. These are not typical categories.
He's a liar.
And just to keep it neutral, let's go to the pets section. Looking at the article, the collie who crossed states, why lassies can keep coming home. So the story is very short and sweet. There's no reunion photo. So of course I Googled to see the news story. Maybe it is on another website, another news site, and I can't find any story about Scout. And now I'm irritated because I want to see a photo of Scout reunited with his family. Then there's the astrology section. Why is the main article Academiks is out of alignment? His Taurus chart has been trying to tell him. What in the world is going on? Just looking through many of the articles, let's just say I were to stumble across this website. It doesn't appear to rank in Google. So if I were to happen to stumble upon this website and use this website in any of the videos as a reference source and say, I got it from here. If this is a news aggregator site, where is it pulling the articles from? Many of the articles are only 2 or 3 minutes long and appear to have been published within the same few days. That still does not prove that the articles were written by AI, but it certainly looks like a large scale, maybe AI assisted whole content website operation, not a traditional newsroom with reporters covering all these different subjects in a matter of minutes. However, this is where Charlamagne has the strongest argument. The specific article he cited did not originate with Inverse Wire.
And those sites, at least the age.com is for sure. The age.com is behind the paywall. So I think inversewire.com takes stories that are from behind paywalls and puts them up.
Public.
But what is he trying to say, that the articles aren't real?
Yeah.
Well, what?
That's what the claim. The claim is that I think Rock Nation made some fake article, and they're the ones that are pumping this whole situation.
It's on the Sydney Morning Herald. Act knows this. I've sent Act these articles before.
The original story was titled "The Rapper, the Crypto Billionaire, and the Instagram Mystery Man." It was published by the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age, which are established Australian publications.
Hold on. The Age.com, the headline for that article was, what the fuck? The Rapper, the Crypto Billionaire, and the Instagram. Yeah, it's the same story. The Age.com and the Sydney Morning Herald both posted that story.
So it appears Charlamagne didn't pull a completely fake article out of thin air. The original story does exist, but I'm still looking at Inverse Wire sideways. And I think this is where Akademiks still has a fair criticism, because during their original sit-down, Charlamagne presented Inverse Wire itself as a credible source, but his defense now is that the article originally appeared in the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age. That proves the original article exists. It does not prove Inverse Wire was credible or even explain why he brought the Inverse Wire version instead of the original source. And that is what sent me further down the Inverse Wire rabbit hole, because once I started looking beyond the article Charlamagne cited, I left with even more questions like, where is Scout's reunion photo? And how did Joe Budden get wrapped up in Akademiks astrology reading? It goes on to say, then there's Joe Budden. Joe provides another ugly comparison. Joe has made plenty of mistakes publicly, loudly, repeatedly, but something changed. He started building structure around himself, continues on, and then says, a business that works even when nobody is crashing out. Joe grew into the chair. Academics sometimes still looks like he's trying to destroy the chair because somebody else sat in it first. I have heard that line somewhere before. Who has said that? So it continues on. As far as the article, even if this website is questionable, it disappeared and then reappeared, it doesn't take away from the original article. And Charlamagne believes Inverse Wire may have disappeared because it was taking paywalled articles and reposting them.
And those sites, at least the age.com is for sure. The age.com is behind the paywall. So I think inversewire.com takes stories that are from behind paywalls and puts them up. Public. And I saw Axe saying how the site was taken down. That's probably why it was taken fucking down. You know what I'm saying? If you taking paid content, from another site and putting it up on your site, then that's probably one of the
Maybe, but keyword that Charlamagne said was probably why it happened. We don't know who took the website down, why it disappeared, and why it has come back online. But why not just take the original article if it was available through the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age, or in a moment when so many eyes were on the sit-down, debate, or interview, whatever you want to call it? Was this a moment to bring more traffic to the website? Why did he bring a mysterious printout to the room when he could have just showed the original? And if Inverse Wire is an aggregator, where are the backlinks and sources? Because the website is now publishing its own articles about Charlamagne and Academiks. One article even declares Charlamagne the #1 media personality of 2026.
Liar.
And citing several lessons, again mentioning Joe Budden, where it says lesson number 5, range matters. This is where Academiks loses the argument for #1 overall. Academiks can dominate a rap news cycle. Joe Budden can dominate podcast conversations. Charlamagne can wake up and interview a rapper, discuss an election, speak with a billionaire, argue with Andrew Schultz, talk mental health, interview an author, discuss relationships, and then sit across from somebody shaping national policy. And none of those rooms feel completely unnatural. That's range. And even going on to say not only why he's #1 over Academiks, but again, Joe Budden, where it says Joe is incredible at what Joe does. He may actually be the best pure conversational podcaster in hip hop, but Charlamagne's map is larger. Joe built an elite show. Charlamagne built a media tree. When it came to Academiks, it says Ack wins velocity. Charlamagne wins gravity. Ack can generate enormous attention around today's event. Charlamagne can walk into more rooms tomorrow. That's the difference between being a dominant media personality and becoming an institution. Ack still has time, but he hasn't built this yet. And this is the picture they used. Charlamagne in this photo is towering over the city in a superhero costume, wearing a chain that says the People's Champ. Meanwhile, Academiks is standing underneath him with a sign labeling him fun size. So all things considered, Academiks came back online, and I bet you can guess by now how he felt about it. Here's what he had to say.
I want to make it clear. I still don't have a problem with Charlamagne. I just have to let you know, and I'll let him know, I think Charlamagne's a liar. Okay? Doesn't mean I hate him. I think he's a liar. If Charlamagne, I'm giving him the same treatment I give to Meg Thee Stallion. If Charlamagne called me today and said, Ack, it's raining outside, I would put the phone down and walk outside and check it for myself. When you find out someone's a liar, you need to take that and you need to operate in the future with it. Okay? Now, of course, I could add up stuff and be like, well, he's lying for this, these and the reason. The very basic method or the basic, foundational thing is that I no longer believe Charlamagne, and I used to. I used to think Charlamagne was a uncomfortable truth guy. Charlamagne, of anybody in media, I've never associated with being a liar until now. I have to be honest. Now, after seeing how he's played this, I'm like, oh, Charlamagne is a liar. It is what it is. There's a bunch of liars I know that are liars. Meg Thee Stallion's a liar. Charlamagne's a liar. They're liars. Which means you can't take them at face value. If they tell you something, just beware. They have other alternatives, other motives.
Inverse Wire came back online and did not even attempt to beat the allegations. They turned Charlamagne into Captain Breakfast Club and Academiks into some miniature figure. The website has also published articles calling Academiks hip hop's worst leader, examining his tour's birth chart, and saying he has a Drake problem. Meanwhile, Charlamagne is the people's champ, the #1 media personality, and apparently Earth's last line of defense. So that doesn't sound like an aggregator site. That sounds like somebody has picked a side. Whatever Inverse Wire may have been when Charlamagne originally cited it, the current website is not collecting stories from other publications, at least right now, as I'm looking at it, that does not appear to be the case, and inserting itself directly into this feud because I don't think Academiks is going to let this go. Now, does that mean we all know who owns the website or is pulling the strings over there and writing these articles? No. After browsing, I understand though why Academiks think something funny is going on, because some of these articles are interesting to say the least. There is one final thing that Charlamagne had to say.
Give him a hug, Charlotte.
As I told Ak, I don't know if these allegations in this article are true, but the article is real. It's on the Sydney Morning Herald and it's in the age.com. That's where it was originally published. Once again, Inverse Wire is an aggregator site and they take articles from other places and republish.
So they just ripped it off, basically.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Charlamagne admitted that he does not know whether the allegations inside the original article are true. His only claim is that the article is real. While the original article was published by the Sydney Morning Herald and the Age under the name of a verifiable reporter, Academiks was right to question Inverse Wire because the website itself raises plenty of credibility concerns, and the version online is now posting some interesting images and articles. And the strange behavior of Inverse Wire does not prove who created or controls the website. For all we know, it could be a fan. So Charlamagne won the argument over whether the original article exists. Academiks won the argument over whether Inverse Wire looks funny. Meanwhile, the writers or creators behind Inverse Wire are probably over there generating another story with someone or a pet or something in golden hour that I'll never know what happened to Scout in the end. So again, it just looks a bit strange to me. But what do you think? Did Charlamagne provide enough evidence to answer Academiks' accusations and put this to bed? Or does Inverse Wire disappearing and returning and immediately turning Charlamagne into a superhero make this entire situation look even more suspicious? Drop your thoughts below and let's talk about it in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, share with a friend. Click that join link to become a channel supporter if you enjoy rocking with yours truly, Chatterboxx. Until next time.